So like, what is your brand voice? What is your brand essence is what the episode is about. And it's so important that before we start hiring out virtual assistants or digital, like online managers to manage our accounts or to have somebody design your website, that you really understand what your brand voice is and essence is really all about. And let's get to this episode. So I think it's really important that before you post something, before you send out an email communication, before somebody comes into your business, what is your brand voice? And in today's episode, I really want to encompass the importance of that and how you can really be genuine and authentic with it, but also realizing that you do need to keep that cohesive voice, and the importance of the professionalism in part of our business is what today's episode's about. It's all about having a strong brand voice on and offline. So first, what is your brand voice? What is your brand essence? Like, are you fun? Are you serious? Are you professional? Are you silly? Do you use humor? There's so many things that can encompass a brand voice in your business. And most importantly, I think it's so important that you actually establish that before, you even start posting or sharing things on and offline. Because your brand voice is really your brand's personality. It's like the way you present yourself to the world, and it's utilized in all of your forms of communication and everything, from your website blog post, from your podcast, from social media, any emails, anything that you put out into the world, what is going to be used on or offline. That anytime people interact with it, it's going to be the personality and the tone of the voice of your business. So it's really important that before you start even hiring out a, like social media manager or somebody to help you with, your website or blogs or anything like that, any form of communication, whether it's verbal, right, written or visual, that they really understand what your brand voice and tone is. So I want you to look back and really feel what your brand voice and tone is about. I can be very assertive. I can be, I have like my little JK humor side to me. And I can also be deep conversations. Like, it's just part of my brand personality and my brand voice and tone. And part of that is also going into the second part of this, which I know I had the hardest time, but I want to help you with this because it's going to help you a lot in your business if you actually implement this, is that you're not being fake, or you're not being not genuine or not real, and I'm doing that quotation air marks, when you are always being consistent with your brand voice. And this is what I mean by that. On and offline, when a client interacts with you, are you utilizing the same brand voice and tone? I know life happens. I have kids that get sick. I get things that go wrong. I get sick as well. There are times, when life things happen, right? You have a loved one in the hospital, or, somebody passes away, or something's going on in your family life. There's so many things that happen in real life, which I have been dealing with all this year. But the one thing that I had to be very careful and mindful of, it was that I could not allow that to impact my brand voice and my brand tone. So rather than feeling fake about it, I know that's part of my business, part of my brand. And instead of forcing something that's not there, I decided to take a break. So this month, honestly, I've been taking really slow on social. I've really slowed down to just posting once a week, to being less on my stories. And it was really just to really recharge and refocus inward, because I knew if I showed up with everything that I have going on right now in my life personally, my brand voice and tone was going to be affected by it, as much as I don't want to. Sometimes, we're just so sad that we just can't continue to do the thing. We actually have to be able to take the time to step away and, deal with our own emotions and things. So I think it's very important that you realize that, number one, it's really okay and it's not a bad thing if you want to take a break. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes that's going to be so necessary to be able to do. So don't feel guilty about that. And part number two of that is that at work, I'm always at work. And what I mean by that it's the cold coffee could have like spilled over my white shirt, has happened before I go to work and I had to change really fast. That's not gonna affect my day. My kid could, he just got called out of sick, from school, and now my husband has to go pick him up. Has happened because I have to work. I already scheduled a client and they're on their way. I cannot let that affect my day. There's life situations, where I have loved ones in the hospital. I've had people that I love pass away. And I have commitments of whether it's travel or educating. I cannot not show up, and I have to show up with my brand voice and tone in mind. And it's not me being fake. It's also realizing that we do run a business, and that's part of my business, is that I don't want to allow my personal stuff to affect people, because I always think, especially as being service providers, that people deal with all kinds of things, right? Like, you probably have your clients that deal with so many things and they talk to you. They probably don't want to hear the stuff we're going through. Maybe we can share examples if they're open to, if they ask us an open-ended question like, hey, have you ever gone through anything like this? Is there any advice you can give me on this subject? Right? Then we can totally like go into it. Or if I want to give advice, I always ask my clients, hey, are you open to hear like my opinion on this? Or, I just think it's really important to have really open communication, especially in any type of relationship, especially service providers. So I know for me, keeping my brand tone and voice always consistent is very important, and it's not of being me being fake. It's me being in the business of caring for people, and because I care for people and I'm holding a space and they're hiring me for my professionalism and for certain services, part of that is also being mindful and tactful that I know that I don't know everything they're going through, and they don't need additional things coming from me. So I just try to be mindful in those situations to really take space away. But there are situations, that's why like part of this podcast is take what resonates, leave the rest behind. There's always this gray area, I call, where the situations happen, right? Where maybe someone did end up in the hospital. It happened with my little girl when she fell down the stairs. We were in ICU for 3 days, and then we were shut down again. It was during the whole 2020 thing. And I had to let my clients know that I wasn't going to be in, and then we got shut down. So, I couldn't do any client services during that time and different type of things like that. There's always going to be this gray area when no matter how much we try to keep the professionalism and try to keep our brand voice and tone intact, it may be affected. But I think it's really important for us to know that we are in a business of caring for other people, and it's really important to have like those boundaries for them and for ourselves, because one thing I would never want is for my clients to be like, so what happened with this, what happened with that, and feel like they're entitled to my whole private life, because I love having a private life. So next time, before you post something, before you send out an email, whether it's written, whether it's on voice, whether it's on social, remember to be really in mind and be very mindful with your brand voice and essence. And to end this episode on part 3 of this, I wanted to give you just a little quick behind the scenes of what I've had to do at times to be able to be really aligned with my brand and my brand voice. So if you don't follow me at Celeste the Stylist on Instagram or Pinterest or any of my social media channels, I've actually have been really slowing down on the amount of posts I've been doing, just because this week has been insane. So it has been personally insane, whether it's with work. I've been doing weddings. I've been doing hair. I've been doing on-location services. I'm also doing stuff for Pinterest and recording videos, all this crazy stuff. And family, like I have family that was sick, that was at the hospital, and all this other crazy stuff going on in life, right? And because of so many things going on, I really try, right, like we started with this episode, be mindful, right? When I'm with my clients, it's about them. It's nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter if my house is falling apart or like on fire. Like I don't bring that up when I'm with my clients, because it's part of keeping my brand voice. And it doesn't mean that I'm being fake. Again, I'm being very mindful that people have their own stuff going through. And most of my clients only get their alone time when they're alone with me. So I'm very mindful of that part. So because of that, I've decided not to show up online. And I want to share with you some of the 3 like really interesting things that I've learned as I stopped showing up online because of all the craziness going on behind the scenes that I've never shared and I have not shared on social. I'm actually sharing it here first with you on my podcast. Number 1, it helped me for my sanity. I was not in a good headspace, and my voice and just my demeanor and essence and spirit was not there to be really helpful for anybody. So why show up? I decided not to show up. I knew that things could happen, right? Maybe it might hurt me. Maybe it might not. I don't know. But I want to share with you behind the scenes what the heck happened when I stopped showing up as much. And I'm very mindful of my brand voice and essence. I got more bookings. So believe it or not, I got hit up more for services. I'm not sure. Well, I know why. Okay. I have other brand strategies in place that have nothing to do with social media. So I know that has been really working for me. But also you don't need to show up every day or every freaking week. Like, I just really think it's really important that you show up at least once every 2 weeks just to let people know that you're in business and like, you're still there. You're still caring about what you're doing, your services and your clients. So having said that, that really helps. I still got clients. This other second interesting part, I grew followers. I guess showing up less often made people miss me and follow me. And the last part, it was really good for my soul. I was able to re-energize and really be able to have this creative space because I was not draining myself or focusing on posting on social. I was able to come up with these amazing ideas. And because of that, I'm able to do all these cool things now. I have a couple of new things. I have a live class and other things and workshops and things like that coming up very soon. Within this next 30 days. And that was a beautiful thing that was able to come from this time of slowing down. So meaning to say, don't be scared of slowing down. Don't be scared that you have to stop posting or that people are, used to you posting every single day, which was my case. Now I'm not posting every day. I'm posting barely once a week because that feels good to me. In this stage of my life and this stage of my business. Once a week feels good. I changed my profile name and things because my business is like morphing and switching to something else, and my income is really coming from another service. So I had to really focus on that. And it's okay. And I also want to let you know that you owe nobody an explanation and that you'll be okay if you don't give explanations why you are doing things. So I follow, and I also have mentors that have huge followings that work with huge brands and have smaller followings. And a lot of them have been talking about this, that you're allowed to morph and change just like life changes all the time. And you're probably not the same person that you were 5 years ago. The same thing happens with business. So don't be scared to change. Don't be scared to morph into something different that's changing with you. If posting every single day, like for me, was amazing for a while, but it no longer aligned with me and my lifestyle and my business, I'm able to change it. And I gave nobody an explanation of that. I'm telling you here on my podcast just to let you know what is possible for you. Don't allow what everybody tells you have to do to limit you. And I just really want to put a huge emphasis on this. No matter how many magazines I've been in or publishings and podcasts, and, I'm right now currently doing Pinterest TV, and there's like a producer and stuff behind the scenes and stuff with it. There's videos I need to do. There's so many other things going on, right? That goes within the realms. I always remember one thing, and is that I am here to help and serve others, and that I do not limit myself because I have a small number of followers, because each follower is a human being. It's a person. I know there's bots and things, but most of them are people. And I want you to be open to that. Be open to be your true brand essence and voice. It's not so much, everybody focuses so much on the colors and aesthetics and pretty websites. None of that crap matters if your voice is not consistent. None of that stuff matters if who you are, your essence, or like of your brand, of your business is not always cohesive. And I just wanted to share the reality of what I do in my business. yes, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm angry, sometimes things happen, but I always keep mindful that I am in a business with dealing with other humans and people that are trusting me with their time and their money and their energy to come to me for a certain experience. And I need to keep my personal stuff aside to, something separate. And that's very important, because how many of us have been in those situations, right? Where you're getting a beauty service done or something, and somebody's having a bad day and they're like kind of taking it out on you, or like they're mean to you, or whatever the thing is. And you can feel that energy, whether you believe in energy or not. You can feel, right, that vibe, or how they look at you, or how they talk. It changes, right? So be very mindful of that, and don't be scared to take breaks. I take so many social media breaks, and I am not apologetic about it. I don't tell people, I just do it, and it feels good. It's what fuels the creativity. Part of being creative, part of being in business, is that we are not machines. We are not Energizer bunnies with the Energizer commercial. I know I'm going to date myself with this one, but it was the Energizer bunny that keeps going and going, and that thing will always be like banging on its drum, going nonstop. We're human beings. We need at least 8 hours of rest. We need water. We need food, and we also need to really focus in our inner selves and being well. And it's beautiful how the more that we focus, and I always heard this, but I never got it until I actually got it and saw how it transformed my life and business, which I hope it helps you as well. That the moment that you decide to put yourself first, to start taking care of yourself, to put boundaries in a respectful, beautiful way. When you say that you don't work on Sundays, you don't work on Sundays. If you want to make an exception every once a year, which is literally what I do, then you can do that. But please don't limit yourself. Please don't limit your potential, because you need to take a break. You're allowed to take breaks without explaining it to anybody. You're allowed to not show up on social because you're not in the right mind, or, things are kind of crazy. You're allowed to change your mind and not post as often. That's why we got into business for ourselves. And part of the brand voice is that, remember to keep it cohesive and consistent. It doesn't make you fake when you decide that, I'm going to put my problems aside or my personal stuff and really show up for my client the best possible way. It doesn't make you fake when you decide that I'm not going to show up on social right now because I am not in the right headspace, or I'm really angry and I don't want to portray that to my, people that watch me or follow me. That's not fake. That for me is mindfulness, right? Just like for my children, even when I'm really upset, I try to really cool myself down before I talk to them, because I know I don't want to be harsh towards them or say something I'm going to regret later. It's the same thing with our business voice and brand essence. Think about it. Before you post that thing, why are you doing it? What's the outcome that you're seeking out of that? And I really hope that this really helps you, whether it's with your website, social media, inside your business, outside of your business, and on and offline your business, that you really start focusing on what matters, which is not all the pretty stuff and having the perfect ring light and perfect lighting. It's really about your brand essence and your brand voice and what makes you and your business unique. With so much love, I hope you have an amazing week. On Tuesday, the Google Ads podcast is coming out, and please listen to that one, because the guest that I have coming on for the Google Ads, she is amazing. She works with big companies, and she just has so much knowledge. She really simplified it. And because I had no knowledge on Google Ads, it's really helpful for you as well, because I was able to ask really questions to help us understand how it can help our businesses, what are the pros and cons of it, and really a better understanding of it. So I look forward to sharing that with you on Tuesday. It's already up and loaded. It automatically will come up on Tuesday. So make sure you tune in next week. So much love. I'll see you next week. Bye, love.